Ooh, hello. Can't
We're
scope your
blurred.
lovely car on my narrow driveway.
And it's raining.
And it's raining. Right, hello. Oh God, my neighbours do not make this easy. Oh, the temptation just to wheel spin around here in this. It's so high.
You might accidentally do it.
So yeah, I'm in Jamie's car. Jamie's here behind the camera. Hello, Jamie.
Hello.
We are off to my storage unit to go and get the IS300H motor slash gearbox slash CVT to test fit in the car. Few problems. Number one, I left the keys for the storage unit in the family car and my wife is 200 miles away. Number two, it's pouring with rain. So I've just made a DIY lockpicking kit out of some old, an IKEA spanner and some old tweezers. And we're going to go and have a go at breaking into my storage unit first of all. And if that works, we'll get the motor out and bring it home. And if it doesn't, well, we just go to McDonald's, to be honest.
Or prison.
I mean, worst case scenario.
Nothing out of one. Click on number two.
Should have hardened more of it.
Oh.
I don't know this is going to work. Yeah. It's too soft. Well, that failed miserably. Yeah, I'm not sure even with the proper lockpicking kit whether I could have made that work. So, change of plans. We're going to go and have a play with this charger and see how that fits. Size comparison. The Mitsubishi Outlander charger, 3.3 kilowatt on the left. The much more modern MG charger I'm using instead, 6.6 kilowatt on the right. Both have DC to DC, both water cooled, both basically do the same thing. Top down, they don't look that different in size. But as Jamie said, the Outlander charger is rather more girthy. The weight difference is absolutely enormous. This one is very much a one-hand job. Pardon? Why are you giggling? This one, I mean, you could just about pick it up with one hand, but I wouldn't like to try. Yeah.
Yeah.
The downside of this is, this isn't going to actually balance out the weight as much. It will fit really nicely where I want to put it, which we'll have a look at in a second. But yeah, it won't balance the weight out very much. So, sort of test fit high voltage, well, my rear high voltage junction box, which will, from which my batteries will be connected to both AC and DC charging. Pass the charge port over. My smaller battery will tuck in there, in that corner. And then, there should be space. So these cables I don't think are going to be long enough. Depending on where maybe they will, don't know. Need to leave room for all the things to go on. Could go on down like that. That would be a pain in the bum, wouldn't it? Yeah. But ideally, my charge port, when the new body's on, will go up there somewhere into the C-pillar. But there's no space for it to go. Oh, there is a hole there actually. Yeah. Is there a hole there? Might go through there. Up to the charge port and the C-pillar, and then I can sort of route them round here and up. So you need to get the orientation exactly right so we can get to all these connectors, and need to think about coolant hoses. So on the coolant front, this hole will be a hole because I'm getting rid of the spare wheel. There is a another one. There's another two under there. So the vent hole for the old battery and the other mounting point for the spare wheel. And then underneath, there's actually behind here, there's more. I haven't actually vacuumed this out. Don't fall. There's a plug there as well, which I could take out and run stuff through. So, I mean, while it's on this body, I might charge it by having the boot open. But yeah, radiator could go out. There's a good bit of height over and above, so it'd be nice.
You have a separate cooling?
Yeah. Be nice if that sat down there, but you can't actually get to any of the connectors if you do that. Or, you know, run the pipes out or anything. But this has got plenty of... These are connectors for the CD changer.
Glamorous assistant.
Thank you very much. So actually we could actually lift this up a bit. Create a platform for it about there. And then you've got space underneath to run coolant. Stay. So we can run coolant hoses or connections through those bits underneath. That would be the plan, I think. And then that's all just tucked really neatly away. Kick carpet over the top, carpet down the sides. No one needs to know it's there. And obviously then your DC to DC is right next to your battery as well. Which is cool. I like that.
Professional at work. You're going to scan my dash.
There we go. Let's try that. As you can see, scanning Jamie's dash actually came out pretty well. We did a few scans, as you can see here. They came out, and if I get rid of the Fusion one, the one that's been cleaned up, some of them came out better than others. That one you've got the lip on. Anyway, we didn't actually have very much success with aligning them, but once they'd been processed by the software, that's actually exactly the bit that Jamie needed in order to design a new mount for his 10-inch display. I could make a joke about 10 inches there, but let's not go there. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and I shall be making more use of my 3D scanner off the back of that, I think. I'm going to wrap that video there, partly because I'm feeling really grotty. I came down with a horrible cold today after Jamie was here. Was already feeling a little bit fuzzy, which may explain some of the stupid mistakes I've been making recently, not only leaving the keys in my wife's car, but also plugging 53 volts into a 12-volt device yesterday, which did not help my mood at all. Anyway, that's a complete sidebar. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Very enthused about the 3D printing. Should be doing more of that in a future video. And yes, sorry this wasn't the test fitting of the 300H motor in my car video that it was meant to be. But that'll still be coming soon, weather and wellness permitting. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.